Greetings, 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 goddamn. Salute to everybody. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend. A very, excuse all the noise, The other coats make a lot of noise, right? A wool cone will make all that noise. Um, that's not a flex, by the way. That was just really, if it sounds rude. It sounds loud to me. But, I have a ton of food here. I just came back from a very marvelous event. Marvelous events need to be thanked by God. God knows I needed this. He knew it. He knew it. God knows what you need, and it's important to know that He knows what you need, and that's why you should put faith in God because God knows what you need. Amen. Put faith in God because God knows what you need. Don't put faith in man. Man may not know what you need. You may trust man because you love a person. You may trust man because man is man, but if man don't have the knowledge and the wisdom, it's useless. Um, I say this for many years, man. I've lost a lot of female friends in the battlefield. The battlefield of life. And the battlefield of life uh, is we all have it. It's something that we all have is the battlefield of life. If you don't have it now, you will. If you're lucky enough to see some time on this earth, you will see the battlefield of life. And the great thing is a blessing because it shapes me. There's nothing better than life shaping. And you want to be shaped. Pause. You want to be shaped. You know, there's always some mode of a testimony to share, man. And you know, the souls are being the souls are being neglected. The souls are being neglected. They're not being fed. And a lot of us have souls that are not being fed. And we try a million different things and sometimes it's simple things. But shout out to my bro. My bro had a baby shower for his daughter. You know you old when you got friends having baby showers for their daughter. You know what I mean? And I admire my boy, man. I really admire my boy because he turned something that would be a nightmare into a celebration. He, I don't think he did it for the guy. I think he did it for the life of his granddaughter coming into the world. It takes a lot for an individual to really genuinely love his daughter, even through a struggle, and turn that struggle into a celebration. I've seen people lose people and turn a death into a celebration. You can't get no worse than that. A loss into a celebration. I've seen it. But today, what I witnessed has opened my eyes in a great, strong way. I'm very proud to say that I was part of that because I did not realize how incredible this event was until I stayed there. I didn't want to leave. Um, you have to go to Target and do your registry and stuff like that. And that part is amazing. You know what I mean? It was something different for me, the whole registry thing. But it was a wild day. You know, I've seen a lot of things. I know one thing I would never own is an electric car. I'm less likely to own an electric car. I seen a line today for the recharge station, and it was just like I couldn't imagine being in the gas station and being online. Nevertheless, you know. So that was one thing. But fast forward, um, the event was amazing, 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 amazing. It was just. I wish more black families was like that. I really, really do. I wish we were like that. American families, especially. I wish we were like that again. Celebrate life instead of talking about it, being about it. But this is a quick live, and I just want to share this, man. You know, I've learned that there are men. If you don't know that I changed my we changed we had to change the B mindset university because um for reasons that I didn't want to have a reason of having the university and they have certain licenses. I didn't want to cross no props, whatever. But you know, we switched the name up, but it's still the B mindset, and we probably realize what the B means. We know the B means a lot of different things, but for the most part, it's the black man mindset. It's the black man mindset is Axel Daniel. It's me, right? So I'm not a black man. I'm a black man. So go figure. But the great thing of it all, and I want to share, and I think that's amazing, is that I've learned something very, very interesting today, and I learned that not that I didn't know this, but I really, really, really want to urge and tell a lot of brothers and women and men. This is not just for men. This is for men and women to take heed to understand the anatomy of a woman. Um, I feel with women, from my personal experience, you have to know what to share with them. And if you do not know what to share, you are going to catch a serious repercussion. I repeat, if you do not know what to share, because if you know what not to share, you have lower expectations and you won't be as hard on a woman because you know that she's a very, very delicate creature. All women are. The amount of things I've seen tonight in this event was so incredible. Just from a perspective of viewing, having the ability to be around people that I know. Um, it was in Brooklyn, and this is the season that I needed, right? But anyway, being at the event, I know that women, unlike men, let me give you an example of just from a male perspective. If you ever get a phone number from a woman, and then in lieu, you try to talk to her girlfriend, just give an example of something that I see. I promise you, it doesn't challenge her, it will probably kill the whole deal. You can't do that. Um, Men, on the other hand, are different. If a man's at a party and he sees another woman with another guy and he got a number, he's just like, well, I got a number. I just got to make sure I call her first. He won't rip it up or delete it or whatever, whatever. But a woman, on the other hand, um, she it will kill the deal. They don't get intrigued by things like that because women are very delicate. I don't think women understand the level of the chance that you take when you share with a woman. Um, Men that are raised by mothers, have aunts around him, all the above, and you are not aware that women are delicate, you are going to be in serious trouble as you get older because you wasn't around an abundance of men, uncles, brothers, fathers. That changes things. That means a lot. It probably means a lot more than you could imagine. Um, I think what a lot of men don't understand that women are two complete different creatures. Um, you know what I'm saying? Who's that? Hold on. You know, I got this phone, so it's a little different, so I'm a little slow on the responses. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Ken Thompson. What up, bro? So Ken, man, I was out in Brooklyn today, man, and I just got from an amazing. I had such a good time. My man went so hard for his daughter. His daughter's 21. He had an open bar. They had endless food. I mean, dancing, fun. I listen. I stayed until I couldn't stay anymore. Like, I literally stayed. That's a salt truck. It's gonna snow. Oh shit! I didn't know it was supposed to snow this week. Um, when I tell you, amazing job. But what I'm telling my viewers and my subscribers is that you are an, you are part of a platform that is going to constantly change your mindset and make it better. You as a man, you want a man mindset. You don't want a male mindset. You as a woman, you want a man mindset. You don't want to think like a man. You just want to have the mindset. You want to put yourself into his shoes because you're a delicate creature and it's imperative that you do this because you can blow a lot of relationships, a lot of friendships, a lot of business ventures because of your delicacy. I'll give an example. If another example, if a woman says to me that she could handle the truth, I would never tell her the truth. If a woman says to me she's like one of the guys and her brothers raised her, that's a major, 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 major radar. Um, Anytime a woman believes that she can handle things because she's a big girl and she says that to herself, just remember she's still a woman. No matter what she tells you, she's delicate. And her delicacy is not a delicacy as if it's, you know, a little, you know, hors d'oeuvre at a party. Her delicacy is her nature. She's supposed to be delicate. She's not supposed to receive things that you share or tell. Um, Ideally, the big human disconnection is a woman may not listen to a man unless she's in love with him. But she doesn't realize if she's in love with him, all bets is off. Like, in other words, it doesn't matter if he tells you the truth or not about himself, herself. She's going to believe it because she's in love with him. Um, Case in point, my man that is about to be a grandfather with his daughter. Um, I looked at the kid. I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? This is a little kid. The son, the father looks more younger than the mother, and most of the time he is because women are 5 years ahead of a man. So men are less mature because women are more mature 6 years biologically more than a man. Understood. It's our nature. But what men don't understand is when a woman does not achieve or endure the benefits of being a woman, she will spiral because her nature calls for that. Her nature calls for love. Her nature calls for attention. Her nature calls for honesty. Even if it hurts her, she still has a nature. She may not be able to handle it, but she's going to request it. Unlike a man, we don't even care. Most men don't even like going to the doctor because he doesn't want to know the truth of himself. So you understand? So when you see a man that has female attributes, he's gonna have a woman take him over. If you have a man that was raised by a woman and all he'd been around was women, he never endured in a mindset of a man, even as a man, he is going to spiral. Um, Me personally, I've had some tough women in my life, but I've never, until this day, I've never had a woman that endured a man mindset and successfully executed it. I've never experienced that. Every time I thought I did, they get a reminder because as men, you have to protect the woman by not sharing the raw honesty because you have to take heed. She's a lady. She's delicate. It's almost like I just got hit with a speed camera, right? Literally. So the speed cameras are very delicate. If it says 25 miles, if you go above 35, it's gonna hit you. They caught me. All I can say, the first thing I did when I seen the flash, this just happened literally 10 minutes ago. First thing I say when I seen the flashing is I'm like, oh well, what can I do? My car is delicate. It doesn't feel like it's going 30, 40 miles an hour. It's a luxury car, so it felt like it's going slow when to the speed camera it's going fast. So now what I have to do in the future, regardless of how it feels, I have to look at the speedometer. Nevertheless, forget that. Forget looking at the speedometer. I'm not even going that way anymore. After tonight, that is no longer my route. That's it. You know what I mean? And I use it as an example because it's the same way how you may have a route with a woman. You may have a route with a female friend, a young woman. I broke down to y'all how as a woman gets older, she gets more delicate because she gets more mature and she becomes more in her womanhood. So the things that you think you could share with a grown person because you and her are the same age, not a woman. That's why a lot of times when you see guys that tell and snitch or have an opinion, anything ladylike, we're going to say he acts like a bitch because you expect that from a woman. But what a man has to understand too, that if you expect that from a woman, you got to give her a pass. You got to. She's not your buddy. She could be your friend, but she's not your buddy. She's going to have high and low days, and she's going to have some times when she may, really not be the person you think she is, because you may be putting a lot of pressure on her because you think she's valid to handle the situation. A lot of guys, sometimes young guys jam yourself up in bedroom talk, and then you don't understand. Once she records that shit, it's over. There's no more of going back. So you have to, as a man or a woman, you have to enter the environment of a woman knowing that it's a very delicate world there. From her sexually, physically, mentally, organically, spiritually, she's very, very sensitive. If you can play that back in your mind before you go down that road, you know what I mean? You may not even want to go down the road. It's the same way how I'm using the comparison with just one block around my way, where no matter what you do at night, it's just you're gonna get a light tag. The camera's gonna hit the license plate. It's gonna cost you $50. So that pushed me to do this stream because it's just like, you know what? That was my fault. I knew better. I was aware. I forgot, and I did it anyway, and it bit me in the ass. It is very important for a man and a woman to have a strong male figure in their lives. You have to experience that on a daily basis. If you do not, you running the risk, especially as a woman, you are running the risk where your delicacy is going to ruin you, because you're never going to be able to take information in the way you should because you're too delicate. A lot of times there's no um what's the word I'm looking for? Integrity built in a woman on strength because she never had that strong male role figure. And a strong male figure is a man that's going to tell you like it is. He's going to break it down from a wisdom perspective. He's not going to be a strong man because he can lift weights. He's a strong man because everything that he does is going to help you in the future. You have to pay attention to that and don't question it. You can ask questions, but you don't question it because that wisdom is something that you may never ever get from any man. Remember, we are men, so the delicate mode in us is being rejected, but there's no delicate mode in us when we're having sex with you, unless we're a chump. There's no delicate mode of expression when we're with you. There's none of that. There's none of the above because we as men, what the hell is this? Hold on. Sorry about that. We as men, we've allowed ourselves as human beings to be, I would say, we kind of expose ourselves because sometimes we get comfortable and not realize certain information you can't share. It's better for your wife or your girlfriend or your female friend to take the risk and find out rather than share something because it could cost you very bad bodily harm. Uh, I know a lot of times there have been positions where uh, men have caused self-inflicted harm because they shared information and you thought you had a buddy. You're in the bed and you're telling her everything, and then that shit's gonna come back, man, because she's delicate. It's just the way of the world. Again, you go down a road that has a speed camera in New York, and it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You're gonna get hit. It's gonna tag your fucking license plate. So don't even go down that road and put yourself in a position because you're not gonna be able to turn back the hands of time. Um, and this is not a warning of, hey, women, don't tell them shit. No, they are delicate creatures. They're very delicate. I don't care how much she tries to play tough and and this man did this and nothing bothers me and I get over shit. Don't believe that. People that get over shit never get over. People that tell you to get over shit never get over shit. They're worse. Because if you got over shit, you wouldn't talk about it. You just speak about it. Like, how could you know you get over shit? You don't even know what's to come. How do you know if you get over things you don't know what the next day is going to bring? There's some shit that you may never get over. But if you call yourself this strong person and you listen to people about, oh, I'm this and I'm that, again, be very careful. That's why God made man and God made woman. He made men to protect women. You know, he said, "Was it snowing?" I don't know. I just seen a small salt truck pass by, and this weather is so stellar and beautiful. It may snow. It usually does that when the weather looks this way. Um, but yeah, it's a very tough task. And be understanding. Be understanding. If you could master, you may not master women, but if you could just remember, don't ever forget it because it's gonna be hard. Because sometimes you're used to going on that road, and sometimes you want to be free when you go down the road. There's nothing like being free and driving down the road, right? But sometimes you may drive down that road and you're gonna keep forgetting. It's kind of destined. Like, you're gonna keep forgetting that the road is delicate, the cameras are delicate, sensors are delicate. It's like you know, every single time I go down that road, and I knew better. Now I'm kicking myself in the ass because I knew. I said, damn, I remember getting off the bridge saying, I should go that way. I said, I don't think I should go that way, right? I literally said that to myself. You know what I did? I did it anyway. I went that way. I went that way, and I said, shit, it got me again. So, first thing I have to do is myself. You can't realize you have to just come. I don't even know. I wish there was a detector that could give us like a shock every time we think about it and get comfortable and share things. And, oh boy, fucking truck, hold on. Shit, the truck is alarm. Sorry about that. I hate this alarm. So you have to really, really bear in mind if you have sisters, if you have a mom, if you have a girlfriend, you know, they're not supposed to get it. Play that back into your head. Who would have moved this? Fuck would have moved that? Fucking asshole, man. So now understanding a man, and it has female qualities, he's gonna be delicate. He's gonna be delicate. What the fuck would he move? Um, he's delicate. He's never gonna get over shit. Yeah, he probably seems like he's one of the boys. See, this is another thing too. A lot of men have to understand. Look down the line with me. When a man has female qualities, good. He endures what she says. He's under her control. He's bound to be under her control because he's not. He's a man, but he's not a man. Like he's a man, but he's not manly. Right? So if he's not manly, he's not going to be able to take in the information. Me personally, I'm working with it. I'm working with it. For me, I have a very deep dislike. I'm not going to say hatred, but I have a very deep dislike. Sorry about that. Hold on. Yeah. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So, now my phone cut off real quick. So, this is what I suggest. Like I said, when dealing with men, you got to think about the men in your life that are the man in the relationship. The man that's usually the man in the relationship, and I mean man, not an abuser, not a fucking guy that's just gonna take advantage of her because he knows she has less. We're talking about the man. You know, he's the man and she's the woman. He is an entirely different type of guy. But if it's a guy that's a impact male, he's gonna be dangerous because she's gonna influence him. She has the ability to make him or she can break him. So a lot of times when you may see a married couple, but I'm like, let me see who the man is. You know what I mean? My man that had this party tonight, he's the definite man in the relationship in regards to his wife. And I ain't saying like he chumps her. It's just he's a man. Um, he don't do bitch shit. But there are a lot of men that I know, probably the majority. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you the less. But the majority of the married men I know are like that. The majority of men that I know that are in relationships are like that. They're influenced by a woman. And anytime you're influenced by a woman as a man, she can't be a good woman. You know what I mean? A good woman would never be with a man and influence him negatively. Only a bad woman. So the point is, what I'm making, he has female attributes, so he's very sensitive. You got to watch what you fucking tell him. You got to watch what you say. Um, Hold on. Can you hear me? You hit my mic, right? Hold on. Just want to make sure you hear me. Test one, two. Yeah. So you gotta shout the Todd Church. You gotta really, really take heed that he has an ability to destroy you because you neglected the truth. Um, you have a responsibility as a human being, male or female, to take heed into character. A female is a nature, but a male that acts like a woman, that's a character, that's his character. And this doesn't mean he's less of an individual. He's good for something, but watch who you open your heart to. Watch what you say. If you have an incriminating thing that you feel, be careful with that. It will come back. It always does because she's sensitive. She's a very, very precious woman. She's a precious nature, and you have to deal with that accordingly. Um, so the moral of everything that I've learned today was I have to do better. Even me, I have to do better. Not picking friends, not choosing people, but choosing what you share with them. My platform is a little different because I'm able to say what I want to say when I want to say it, and I keep moving. The downfall of it is that if you know me on a personal level, in most cases, you're going to antagonize me. Why? Because that's your nature. So if you're feeling a certain way, like a man can't tell a woman, listen, I'm going through some changes. um, I'm a little stressed out. She's not going to be like, you know what, I'm going to leave you alone because I understand it. That's not her nature to understand. Another woman could understand another woman, but a woman is not accepting a man telling her that. Another man would understand, listen, bro, I'm going through some changes because he knows he's been there. And if he didn't been there, he's experienced that. You know what I mean? So, you know, right? Shout out to Ken Thompson. Shout out to Ken Thompson. Shout out to Ty Church. So um, I'm not perfect. One of my biggest mistakes is the accountability of knowing that a woman is a very delicate creature. You know, I have to be mindful of that. And we don't mean just on a level of touching her, that too, right? But we mean her mentally. We mean that her mind doesn't think like us. I'm here doing the B mindset so you could endure the perspective of a male point of view. You're never going to change and be me. You're never going to change and have a male mindset. Steve Harvey lied to you. It would never happen. However, you would be aware of it. It's good for you to say to yourself, you know what? Nate told me that. And that's cool. As long as you can say that you heard it before, because you heard it from me, that's great. As a man, you can also say, even if you're not manly, you can also say, wow, Nate said some shit. It sounds like myself. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're the guy that, you know, you you're more subjected to your wife as I don't know, maybe you put faith in your wife and you don't put faith in God. Maybe you do. And you may do pillow talk with her, and then she may tell you what's not wrong and who your friends you should cut off. And believe it or not, you're going to consider it because her words are going to take to you a lot differently because you have a female nature. And we don't mean like, oh, fuck what she said, I do what I want to do. No, that's for sure. You can say that to me, and then you go home and you punk out. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean it's your character because you talk tough. Your character is just to know. Um, Hold on. Your woman knows. I give him his space. When you go out, you got to know that. Hey, you know what? She's not gonna blow my phone. She's not gonna even attempt to call me because she knows that I've been going through my shit. She may not. It may not be her thing, but she respect one thing about you. She's not gonna push you over the edge. You're lucky if that's the case. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, nobody takes an answer from a man until shit gets serious. Now they blame themselves now when that motherfucker's sitting in a box and he warned you to stay, don't fuck with him. You know, um, I've learned that sitting with a group of women and you expect them to listen to a male mindset is a lot different as a personal friend or family versus you having a podcast. The reason why it's easy for me is because it's a live stream, number one, and it's not like you can stop the video. So once it goes into post production, it plays on its own, and I'm sleeping. See what I'm saying? So technology has made me it's easier to disperse this information, but the one-on-one thing just doesn't work. Listen, I recently had a situation where a sub reached out to me, and I did a video the other day, and she like said that um I was talking about her in the first 5 minutes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she basically said, then I had to catch myself. I said, you know what? She's a woman. You understand? She may have heard something that I said, thought I was talking about her because she probably thinks she's the only person that talks to me. When the reality was, it had nothing to do with it. I still don't even know what she's talking about. But when I seen, number one, she's able to have my phone number because this was a while when I gave one of my numbers out when I didn't have the Instagram. So can I blame her? No, it's a woman. She's a woman, and they're delicate. And I'm not making this a ploy just for men not to say anything. I'm not making this a ploy for women not to say anything. I think women need to understand that even as a woman, you're not tough. You may think you're the tough one, but when you're dealing with the woman, you're dealing with the woman in the mirror. She is you and you are her. It's no different. You may think, yeah, you may look different and have a different name, but you're both delicate. And you to take on a male mindset is a challenge. You grabbing bits and pieces and learning how men think is cool, but you're delicate and you fall in love with another man, or that shit's gonna be out the window. I have women here that listen to the B mindset only when they get fucked over, only when they get dropped, only when the man that they're dealing with shows them what I talked to them about months ago. And then when they come back, it's just like, well, that's what they do. They do that. And it gives you a level of how do you down somebody? How do you drag them if you know their nature? I have a female, a family member, and I remember she's a little cuckoo. I remember my uncle told my mother she's been like that all her life. And those words stuck because it was like he was basically telling her that's her nature. Like we can't change it. You have to proceed with caution and don't take it as a self. I mean, an inflict that she's inflicting in you. Don't take it. Don't take it. Don't take it in yourself. Because if you take it upon yourself, now you're inflicting yourself. And you're doing harm to yourself because you're not realizing that she is delicate and even more delicate because we know that. So if he knew her nature, he didn't use the exact same words I use, but if he if he knows her nature, he's basically letting my mother know why are we questioning it when we know how she is, and that's some deep shit. You know what I mean? So, um, this is not an ability where most men could acquire. It's kind of it's lonely at the top. It's a great position. You're at the top of the world and you're able to see everything, but not everybody likes the height. Write that down. Like, just picture you're on top of the Empire State Building and you're standing there and with a breath of fresh air, but there's not a lot of people that's going to be up there with you on that observation deck, especially if you're standing outside and you're doing the Axel Daniel way where you like to see the clear weather and see the skies look black at night because it's windy and beautiful. When I meditate, it's a very encouraging, inspiring thing, but there's nobody down there. What I mean? When I do my things, it's never nobody around. So it's lonely at the top. That's the downfall. But the pro is that it's supposed to be. You know, there's not a lot of people that's going to be on top. And I'm not saying everybody's at the bottom, but getting at the top is a very extraordinary. It's not ordinary. It's very extraordinary. So when something is extraordinary, you have to take heed to understand that it's not meant for everybody. Um, if more men would understand that women are just built a certain way, he will have not only a better understanding of her, he would have lower expectations on things that she should acquire to. And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty to having family members that or friends, female friends that don't get along and they keep going back and forth because they have siblings that they don't get along with. You know, I know what the ending result is, but I can't tell them that. You can't sit there like I'll give an example today, another example, right? So one of my homegirls, she was in this building and she was like trying to empty the garbage. She posted on her Instagram and she was emptying the garbage and she took like a little electrical scooter and she fell. And her girlfriend was holding the camera and laughing, but she fell and the garbage fell. She tried to throw the garbage out the incinerator room. It was a funny video. She posted it. But even then, I didn't share it with nobody because you know why I didn't share it? Because I know her. And that would have caused the problem. Because women are delicate, right? So let's just say, number one, you didn't ask her permission, even though she posted the shit. Now you're laughing at her. You're not sure if she's hurt. They want you to ask them, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" Oh no, it was a joke. You have to. You can't just assume just because somebody was laughing that you can laugh. Um, and if you're going to assume it, be very mindful that you know there's a possibility that, you know what I'm saying, that shit could go left. One of my boys that works at this appliance store, um, I don't like talking with him on text. I feel that he hides behind text because in person he's nothing like that. Long story short, he was supposed to have something delivered to a family member. He's been postponing the shit, not backing up. I got mad. I said, listen, let me just cancel the fucking order because I got options. I don't have to go through you. I can go through Amazon or anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like, and then I said, let me go see him. And then when I see him, my wife asked me, how did everything go? Did you say? I said, you know what? This is not a manly man. He's a man, but he's a male. You know, and the fact that he's not manly, he's delicate. And I have to understand that when dealing with him, he's a, you know, you got mood swings and shit like that comes in more. So that he tells me, man, my bad. Today I was real pissed off and it's been a rough day. It's Black Friday. He's a manager of the store. And you know what? I said, well, damn, you know, I wish I would have known that before I came over here, but now I know, you know what I mean? So he's part of that in there also. So the month of November has been a very every month is a testimony, but this month has been, I have to be aware of the delicacy. I have to be aware that there's, you know, you can't squeeze delicate things too hard. You can't be tough on it. You can't treat it like it's an everyday piece of material. It's delicate. And when things are delicate, they can break very, very easily. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys listening and I appreciate you learning. And welcome to another journey. Enjoy this journey. You know, the B mindset now, we have words. Sometimes you're gonna see the B change, you know. But whether even if it means the B whatever mindset, then whatsoever. But the B is what counts because the B is what we change. But ideally, and what the B represents is everything under the B that represents, you know, this powerful information that you guys are getting here. So run with it. Run with the information. Beware or be square. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night.